What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Swift Coin today, SWFTC. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, okay? Here we are at 2.04 cents. That's $0.02046, right? This price right here. Some people, when I say 2.04 cents, it throws them off because of the whole decimal thing with the dollar there. So I feel like I have to clarify. From a low to a high, getting on with our bad selves here, from a low to a high, in what I would consider a bull flag for Swiftcoin here, or some kind of top consolidation pattern. I mean, maybe it's an ascending triangle. Maybe you have descending lows and a flat base. I don't know, or a pennant, whatever you want to call it. But I like to think of it as maybe an incomplete bull flag. You know, you just haven't found your lower low yet. You might be doing that now. The fact that yesterday closed below the 382, right? And I know that we did that over here. We closed below this yellow line, the 382, but that was off of this high. This one is off of this high. So this is the true high, low to high of the move. This is your first real time closing below the 382. My thoughts are, whenever I see something like this, almost always would I expect that you go down to the 61869. Now 1.2 to 1.09 cents, that area there, that is right on top of this prior area of resistance right here, right? And right on top of this prior area of resistance there on a wicking standpoint. So it would make a lot of sense from an overall technical position to find support down at 1.27 to 1.09 cents, okay? Again, that's 0.012 to 0.0109, something in that area. I will offer the thought that Swiftcoin might not go that low, because there are some other coins like XCN, like Alchemy Pay, like, I don't know, like Bitcoin. They all actually, what does Bitcoin look like it wants to do right now on that note? Oh wow, we've gone a little lower, so that's why. I mean, if Bitcoin continues to go lower, if it does go down to about 92K, I suppose that could trigger Swiftcoin to go down here. But what I want to offer is maybe there's a possibility you don't go down here. Maybe you find support at the 0.5, or maybe in a very unlikely way you find support here. If you were to find support here, what I'd need to see first is that today, this day, immediately after you close below the 382, giving the signal that you're going to go to the golden ratio, because that's what that is. That's a signal that you're going to the golden ratio, okay? Not the 0.5, but down here, down that low, that is what this signal means to me as a technical analyst who uses fibs, right? You found support on your 382, found resistance on your 236, and now you've closed below the 382. There's no scenario where I don't see you going down here unless you take this indication away immediately. If today you close back above the 382, that would imply some kind of fake out, and that can happen. That's okay if it happens. But I would need today, you would need today to close above 2.099 cents. Okay, a little bit higher than it's at now. I don't think it's asking for much, but I want to be clear, it's a close above this line, not below this line. If you close right here and then move down, that would look really bad, or good if you're looking to buy at lower prices, right? It'd be very suggestive that we are, in fact, going down there. And it wouldn't be crazy if you went down there at all, because, again, from a technical perspective, you're finding support at previous areas of resistance. I mean, that's basically what you did here. You found support right here at previous areas of resistance there, which it's a little bit lower than these areas of resistance, but still somewhat in that area. What do I want to do? I want to measure from the low to the high to the low. I want to see how far you've come down already. You've already dropped 61%. You know what's funny, guys, is the golden ratio, it applies in more than one aspect, right? The golden ratio is 618, so that's 61.8%. And here you've dropped 61.7%, right? Just so you know, the golden ratio, even though it's 61.8, that's not the same as the measurement down. That's 72% down. It's just the measurement relative to this range here. It's 62% of the range down, if that makes any sense, or 61.8%. Anyways, here, being pretty close to that, I just think that's ironic that the golden ratio shows up in this overall drop too. It's basically right there, pretty spot on. Looking at the daily RSI, all I was doing by that last metric is the fact that you've pulled back 61% already. I mean, I get that we're in a bull market and big swings can happen, but we're talking about something that would be over a 70% pullback. We can see that Bitcoin's done that in the height of its most powerful bull markets. We can see that, especially after a move that, you know, takes you from a low to a high. You've gone up 8x in a very short amount of time. Sometimes you get these more dramatic pullbacks. It can happen right to the golden ratio, right to an area that makes sense, but I want to hold off on thinking that. I would normally have no problem thinking that, but Swift coin I feel like can be a little tricky. And sometimes when it's Big Brother XCN does better, or whenever it's doing well, I've noticed that Swift coin, even if it's going down, it doesn't go down that much, and then it starts to recover in a short amount of time as well. I think there is some kind of link or connection, maybe in investors or funds, right? People might be taking profits from here and putting them in here, and taking profits from here and putting them in here whenever the times are appropriate. I don't know, but just this thing, normally I would have no problem with calling for you to go down here with everything that I've seen so far, but because it's Swift coin, I have a little bit of an issue. So let's get above that 382. Let's close above. I think it was what, 3099 cents. Sorry, 2.092 cents. Is that right? 2.099. There we go. Close above 2.1 cents. 0.021. Okay. And that'll be good. Do that today. Do that today. That would be really, anything lower than that won't entice me at all. It'll make me think you're going lower. If we look at the daily RSI, I need to put the brightness up. I don't know. Does this brighten it up for you guys too? Because that was too dim for me. I've always wondered that if I put the brightness up, wouldn't that affect the brightness that you guys see as well? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you like the brightness more, or if it doesn't affect it at all. I'm just curious. These higher lows that you have coming in here would allow for you to go a little bit lower, and that's okay, but just a little bit lower doesn't really scream all the way down to 1 cent, right? So in which case, if we were to go a little bit lower in the RSI, I would suspect what you see is some kind of dramatic cliff jump. You just fall down and then you come all the way back up in the same day and you close. So even if our worst nightmares are realized, likely I don't think that you're going to break this, right? Because again, to break this downtrend is what it would take for the price to close down here. Trying to make sense out of it, you look more like you're at an area, a position to bounce, than you are in a position to break out to the downside. But you could be. You never know. But with that in mind, you know, a wick, the only way that I could see you getting down here would probably be in the form of a wick, and then you close up higher, bringing the RSI to close at this area above the line or at the line, not below it. But you don't even have to go down there, right? This is just, all I'm saying by the line here is that it allows for that. It's okay if you do that. It allows for that. But you could find support here. You could find support here, right? You found support right there and right there, kind of in this same area, a little bit right there, right? Even some resistance right there and support right there, all in the area that you're at right now. So it's not that it happens every single time, but it happens. And it didn't happen last time, so maybe it happens this time. I don't know. Daily RSI looks good, if that wasn't clear. I think it looks good. Soon you're going to be ready for a bounce, whether it's today or over the coming days, right? Whether you drop more first and then 4 days later, 3 days later, sometime next week, we start moving up. However it looks, whether it's this maneuver or this maneuver, you're still going up here. Is that clear? It's just this one might take more time than this one. That's all the downside means. It's nothing to get scared about. It's something to get prepared for. Does that make sense? If we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, looking at this RSI, I would also agree that you're at a position at a position to bounce. Certainly seems like it. Lower lows here, lower highs here, downtrend ending in the overbought zone. This is your oversold zone. This is the second time being in the oversold zone in this momentary downtrend. You haven't broken out of it yet. I think a close getting above the 50 would solidify it for me that you are looking to bounce out of here. Of course, truthfully, anytime just taking the downtrend out of context, not using the downtrend at all, just looking at this for what it is, I would say that the real way to identify that you're done going lower would actually be to sustain readings above the 60. So it would be nice to get above the 50, but it would be nicer, I think, still to get above the 60. That would bring you to a higher high, and then also you're in the bullish area of control when you're above the 60, right? All the good things happen when you're above the 50. All the better things happen. All the best things happen when you're above the 60 and in the overbought zone. I mean, Swift coin here, you've had a 1, 2, 3 move down, and that is a corrective phase, right? Corrective pattern, so we can see it here. Elliott correction wave, they are just 1, 2, 3-legged patterns, with the second wave in the middle of this corrective pattern being the smallest wave, right? And that's exactly what you have here. Yeah, I mean, this could be even a zigzag. I don't know if anybody knows what a zig. Is it a zigzag? Hold on, let me just see. If it's a zigzag, that would be a really powerful. That would actually very much suggest that you're not going lower. Or if you are, we could quantify that. Let's see. Zigzags are very specific, okay? One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. No. I don't know how it would do. I don't know. I don't know enough about Elliott wave theory. To me, it looks like it could be a zigzag just because it almost has this 5-wave look to it, where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if that were the case, you'd be able to see smaller waves in it. I'm not going to try to bore you or decipher this right now. Maybe it's a zigzag, maybe it's not. If you know Elliott wave theory, then help us out in the comments. If not, you're like me. I don't know too much about it. I know a little bit about it. I know how to recognize patterns. This one, if it is a zigzag, it'll take me more time to kind of identify and do all the measurements. I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to bore you guys. It is rather meticulous, but regardless, it would be. I'm definitely gonna do it because it would be helpful if this is a zigzag to determine where this low is. If it is a zigzag, oftentimes from a low to a high, you would at least interact with that 1272 area, and you haven't. You haven't. Going down to reach for the 1272 and finding your resistance here in the 100 to 886 area, it's a classic maneuver when working your way lower. So at the moment, I am under the impression you might go a little bit lower. But what's cool about this is I think, again, I still don't think you're going down to 1 cent. I don't think you're going down to this area, 1.2 to 1 cent. You could, but I think what you're going to do, and looking at the 4-hour time frame, I think you could find support right at this previous area of resistance here. Maybe on a closing perspective, maybe just below there. You've got the 1414 here, and you have the golden ratio right there at 1.6, 1.5 cents, something in that area there, right? So you could pull back a little bit lower, have what looks to be a fake out, right? Where you have all these lows, you break out to the downside, and then you eat it back up. That would be a fake out. It would look like you're breaking out of this top consolidation phase, and then it's like, just kidding, we're not going down, we're actually going to go up. That could happen. I don't normally call for fake outs because fake outs are they're tricky, right? That's actually the very definition of a fake out. It's meant to fake you out and psych you out. Kind of like this line here. Actually, you can actually see very, very good example, right? Whenever you broke this downtrend, how many people were excited they broke the downtrend, but as soon as you did it, fake out, just kidding, we're going down. And to be completely fair, technically that's not even a true fake out because you did remain above this line. So technically it's not even a true fake out, but the behavior of it where you broke out, you saw the bullish signal, and then you pulled back and went in the opposite direction, that's kind of what I'm addressing here. Same kind of idea here. If you break below these lows, the only thing keeping all the new people, all the people who would crap their pants if the price went just a hair lower, the only thing keeping them safe and not selling their bags is the fact that this imaginary horizontal line is holding you up. Whenever it doesn't hold you up anymore and you go lower, that's where people crap themselves, they sell out, and then right there, that's actually the moment where the big dogs step up, they buy in. The people who aren't crapping themselves, the investors here that want to buy more at lower prices, they buy in too, and that sends the thing up higher. You get your paper hands to sell out and shake out here, and then you get the strong hands, the diamond hands, the people who know what they're doing, the smart money, they buy down there right below your imaginary line, and then they're like, who cares about your imaginary line? We're going to the sky anyways. And that's probably what's going to happen. At any rate, I suppose that this video has brought me to the conclusion that yes, while I do think you bounce here a little bit, you're at 2 cents now. I'm sure that you do go up a little bit, maybe just in time to close above that price that I'm looking for, which is, I think it was 2.1 cents, right? If you can close above 2.1 cents today, that's very, very exciting. But don't be surprised if you do that today and then tomorrow you have some kind of flash wick down. I am feeling like a little bit lower is still on the table. It's still called for. If I'm wrong, if you're not going lower at all, prove me wrong by doing this, okay? From a high to a low, what I would need to see for you to prove me wrong, to invalidate me. You know what? Actually, I don't even want to use that fib. Let's use this fib, low to high. Get above the golden ratios. They're probably at the same area anyways, but 2.43 cents. Get above 2.43 which is the golden ratio of this zone, of which you're extending out of. 2.43 cents is also an area where you found resistance back here for a little bit, a momentary point of resistance. Find significance there, close above 2.43 cents. I will believe that you're absolved of going lower. Unless, of course, what you do is you go lower first, in which case you have gone lower, and then still getting above there would be nice to absolve you of going any lower than that. But my prediction right now for Swift Coin is that the rest of today might be coming up. You probably do close above 2.1 cents. If you don't, it's not detrimental. I want you to understand that, just because to me that would signal that we go down to about this price area at about 1.1 to 1.2 cents, 1.3 cents, somewhere in there. That doesn't mean it has to happen. Okay, the signal could be there and it could be a false signal, or there could be too much buying pressure down here to let it, like down at this area before you even get down to this area. There could be too much buying pressure down here to let it go lower. There could be not enough selling pressure. There could be all these reasons. Swiftcoin could make it on headline news. It got approved as the official currency of the United States. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anything can happen. So don't count on this 1.1 to 1.3 cent target area. That's the lowest of the barrel, if I had to guess, right? And you want to buy at the lowest of the barrel, but that's the lowest expectation for a reason. I can't see it going much lower than that. That already seems a bit, not unreasonable, but outside my expectations. But if we were to hit that, it still looks good on a chart perspective. My expectations, my true expectations, are we go down to 1.5 cent, if not potentially just a slightly lower low at 1.78 cents. I like this 1.66 cent area right there. 1.5 cents, something in that zone. I like that a lot. I think you find support just below 1.66 cents, and then you start to move up. If I had to throw a little finesse, a little flair on this, what I'm expecting is today you close above this line, and then tomorrow you come all the way down. You come down and you probably wick back up and close around that same area, something like that. So I'm expecting a rather big wick tomorrow. Again, if that doesn't happen, the only reason that didn't happen is that you're above, what was it? I think it was 2.43 cents. You're above that area to invalidate me. You get above that, all of those downside targets are off the table, and what we have to look forward to is the sky, okay? And where are we going whenever we touch the sky? Let's just see real quick. You know, I do like this as a bull flag, kind of a bull flag idea. Low to high here. If this is the low, you know, you've got targets around 20 cents, 17 cents. Sounds familiar, right? I've got the same targets over here, and you're at the same prices. So, yeah, something like that is on the table. If this was the low, and I'm not entirely sure that it is, if it was the low, you know, your 2272 is up here at about 16 cents. 2272 should sound familiar because that is exactly where you topped off this last time, right? I'm going to move these fibs over. That was not those fibs, these fibs. 2272 there, you topped right at it. Oh, look at that. This is actually a good reason to not go lower, actually, right here. 2272 resistance, 1272 support. I got to be honest, this is the most throughout this whole video. If you've watched to the end, this is the most that I would genuinely consider. I could be wrong. My whole video I've been thinking that you would go down a little bit lower, but maybe you don't. Actually, I like this a lot. This, I would expect you find support here. If not, 1.4 cents, 1.2 cents, you know, those same targets down there at these prior highs. But normally when you hit these deeper extensions, you do find support on the primary zone, and you're at the base of that now. So looking like you're finding support. But at any rate, all I'm saying is the next target area, if we were to go to the same 2272, which is consequently the same from a high to a low, it's the same fib, but at the 3618 here, it's right at the 2272 of this fib. That would be at about 16 cents. So you're at 2 cents now. A move up to just under 16 cents, just above 16 cents, maybe at the highest 28.9 cents, 30 cents, something like that, but probably around 16 cents is what I would expect. I got nothing else for you guys. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.